Okay.
all the time.
Let's go back to this career, bro. Paul, about that experience, man. Let's go on with your journey, bro. Have you seen how long we've been vibing?
Yeah, it's good. Let's go.
5 a.m. guys were up and ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
I love it. So where does the story? Let's talk about now Hassolyaku.
Yeah. So along the journey, interacting with young people, I came to identify opportunities to empower. So I'd go for gigs and people ask me for 50 bob, 100 bob, 50 bob, 100 bob, koleni, jenge, nini. But I came to realize that I can't give chums to everyone. I'm not a billionaire. Also, I feel like apart from handouts, how can we empower young people to earn a living for themselves and also perhaps create employment for others? So that's how Hassoliak came to be. So Hassoliak is a youth empowerment and development initiative that we use to change mindsets. So we're changing mindsets amongst young people about how they think about career, business, and entrepreneurship. And
I remember when I joined your Telegram group.
Yeah. So we have different things. So like for Telegram, it's about guests, giving a platform for guests to interact, like a mini market. Guests post like, do you have this? Can I get this? Where can I get this? Referral based. So we have Facebook group, we have Instagram, Twitter. And then we do on-ground events as well in high schools, campuses, and also what we call mtatuas. Mtatuas now are targeting like youth who are not in an institution, base community engagement, talking to youth. So the big idea is to show young people that they can succeed and that they have the tools to succeed. So
you came up with this on your own?
Yeah, it's my initiative. I'm a founder, and thereafter now I established an NGO that now houses my youth empowerment.
What's the NGO called?
254 Cares.
Oh, nice.
So I currently have two initiatives active. So there's Hassolyaku and there's Punguza.
We'll talk about Punguza. I'm not a fan of Punguza.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. But I'd like to get your understanding of Punguza because I have 2 daughters. So real talk.
Yeah. You'll tell me when you're ready.
No, we're having it today.
So am I done with Hassolyaku?
No,
Hassolyaku is it's about mindset. And you see, once young people understand that they have it within themselves to succeed, they have the gifts, they have the skills, they have the talents, they have the abilities to succeed. So here we're not just talking about I don't have capital, sina loan, so pata loan, jubank na dai title deed na dai logbook na sina security. Wewe ni resource. Esther, you being able to talk and calling DNG to interview DNG is biashara. It's transactional. DNG being able to get on a stage and talk to people, I'm the resource. I don't need education.
Exactly.
I don't need to have capital. I don't need to have a big account with a lot of money in the bank. I just need to wake up and go. Get up and get it. That's what Hassolyaku is about. So we are showing people that it is possible. And
your story and what you've just shared with us the past 5 hours.
Yes.
This is proof.
So I use my story first, and then I get stories from other people from various sectors of the economy. Like some of the guys we've worked with, Nkaka, is a great story. Octopizo, the Kibera to Grass, Grass is a rich story. Steve Kumari, who owns Roots Dreadlock Center, Nancy Mokua of My Jobs Kenya, to teach guys what are employers looking for in this day and age, how do you become marketable, employable. So it's across board. Lucia Musau talking about digital media and all that. So we just tap into the friends and networks that we have. And open up a safe space and a platform for them to come and tell their story within the same audience. So, it's panel-based, guys come, give their stories. We're mentoring youth are asking questions. We're inculcating also soft skills, things like savings, discipline, networking, branding.
Nice.
Basic things that you're not really taught in a school setting that can allow you to become a better career professional or business person or an entrepreneur coming up with an invention or a new idea or an industry disruption.
Do you have funding for this or do you have partners?
We are self-funded.
So that blew me. 254 Cares is self-funded.
Yeah. So I set up Hassoliak, then I set up Punguza, then I set up now the NGO because I realized that we need to separate the commercial entity, just 254 Entertainment and group of companies, from the social impact agenda. So social impact is about empowering, impacting, and changing our generation. And it's co-created. We co-create with our audience. So sometimes the audience starts a conversation and then we pick it up and we build on that and we engage. So we don't have a donor. A lot of people think we are donor funded. We don't. We don't have a donor. We fund ourselves. So how we do it, we hive off profit from the commercial arm of the business and plow into the NGO.
For real.
Yeah.
This is not PR talk on this.
No.
So this is your heart. Literally, this is where your heart is.
You see, if I had a donor, I'd have to shout out a donor. Like if I had a client, I'd shout out a client, but I don't have a donor.
What?
So we fund it. I pump in chums into it. Then I have like people now who support in kind. Like now I'll give you an example of an engagement we had in Kajiado County in, I think, February of this year with each one. So we partner with different organizations and people with ideas. And so you find people coming on board with different things in kind. Some brought there's a pad company, I can't remember the name, that brought in sanitary towels for the girls. There's a company that brought in cooking oil and hand wash solution. Bata gave shoes. I think one of the hotels gave a cake for the kids to cut and celebrate. Somebody gave paint to refurbish the school. Somebody gave us a bus and fueled the bus to transport the entire team. Other guys were doing donations like on MPESA. So Mia 150. Yani,
so you've got an MPESA till number.
Yeah, now
okay,
we do.
Hold on. Okay, let me shout out to the CTA guys. So if anybody has heard what it is that you're doing, the number that is scrolling down. I also did this for Nonini. A lot of people gave because a lot of people may have the finances and are trying to help young guys or people in sanitary. For Nonini, that's what he was doing. Okay. So
you know about this thing for albinism?
Yes, and even for the albinism thing, Kalakwa face.
Yes,
Kalakwa face. I just, any moment that I can, anytime I'm hearing that people are doing positive, on CT I bring, as I was telling you, I bring people who have got a level of integrity and also who are impacting others in society. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching this and who feel a need to give, this number scrolling down right now, that is it's a pay bill of buy goods.
So we have a pay bill. Yep. We have an account that you guys can wire. We have PayPal for guys in the diaspora.
Nice.
So I'll give you all the information.
So all these details, and it's actually, as we're talking right now, it's been scrolling.
Yeah, it's set up.
So and it's also within the comment and the description to anybody who just like to give to what it is that you're going to do. Yeah. And we can guarantee that is going to be used to the youth.
Correct. And that's why we separated the lines of business. We separated 254 Entertainment because that's a commercial entity. So that I deal with my corporate clients. And then the NGO is put it up as a special purpose vehicle for that reason. Okay. So that there is financial prudence in case, sometimes donors ask you to audit your books. You can be able to open up and say, this is what we've received from people and this is how we used it. And then even if somebody is unable to give in cash, they can tell us what they can give in kind. Like maybe a brand manager is watching the show. What does your company do that we can give young people? These are young people from like even primary school, because like in Kajiado we did a primary school activation with the community. That means parents, teachers, etc. Well, we've done high schools. Some of my team are telling me we need to do prisons like we used to do with Kubamba. We haven't really gone that direction because I feel like there's so much for us to do in the high school campus space for now and the MTA. So that's what we're working on. Interestingly, you said we're talking about Punguza. We had an NGO give contraceptives, condoms that now we distribute. Now we have World AIDS Day coming in December. So we're now trying to convene and see what can we do for that. So you get what I mean? So people are supporting in whatever form and way.
I love it. So it does, find if you've got the cash and because a lot of different diasporas watch the CTA show. Yeah. I love the fact that you've moved to PayPal and you've got even your accounts on that.
In fact, guys were telling me cash up.
I know.
Guys are US. So like we're open to creating avenues for people to engage with us. We're trying to also put up.
You have a website? Huh? Do you have a website?
Not yet. Yet. We're trying to put up now a website with a donate tab where guys can now be directed automatically. Yeah. The guys were asking like, can we commit to do donations monthly, like
subscription based via credit card,
like the big NGOs do. Yep. So we are working on developing that. We're not yet there, but slowly but surely. For me, I'm not those kind of people who rush to take people's money.
I get what you mean. No, actually, I don't get what you mean because a lot of guys are not like that.
Just because, for me, the NGO is not commercial. It's an NGO, it's a non-profit. So when we're talking about DNG's Red Card and 254 Entertainment as an agency, I'll bill you properly, like I do for corporate clients. But with this, it's we're moving it step by step in stride, and it's a long-term journey. It's a marathon, and step by step, people are coming on board. Like I'll give you very good examples. apart from the ones I've issued. Like the former deputy governor of Nairobi, Mweke, sponsored a Kayanga,
Nice.
gave Karim a check. So I brought Mweke on air and I told him, yo, these guys have great ideas. You skiza to a business speech on air, guys call in, and then we award one guy with cheddar, business capital.
Nice.
He did it. I'll give you another example of my boy Steve Kumari of Roots Dreadlock Center. We did the Upgrade Your Salon campaign, where we decided to empower hairdressers within the slum areas within Nairobi to, with hair dryers and beauty products.
Nice.
So we're giving you tools for the trade. So the guy funded that and supported that. With King Kaka Sanitary Bank, Kimfe came on board and all that. Like it's amazing partners who are able to support. I was talking to Marini the other day, Michelle, and she's like, yo, we need to do something like Upgrade Your Salon where we can give product to guys. So my team hasn't
come back.
He come back on that. So kina Ian, watu wanangoja product changamke.
I love the heart of this.
Yeah, it's just people, man. It's just people
of this. I want to understand. You see, a lot of times you can judge people before understanding people, and that's why I love CTA. And CTA, when you hear somebody's stories, it disarms you. You're like, yo, bro, if I was in that guy's shoes, I would have done 10 times worse. Do you get what I mean? I can't begin judging you and saying things until I hear your story.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm like, yo, me, if I was in your shoes, I have no idea what I would have done. But I want to understand this Punguza.
Yeah.
Explain the gist. From what I've heard, maybe my understanding of it is wrong, and that's why I don't even want to explain.
So Punguza is a youth advocacy and sensitization campaign revolving around sexual reproductive health and rights. So the backstory is a lot of crisis around reproductive health being faced by young people. So I can talk about a lot of things, from unwanted pregnancies, STIs, HIV/AIDS infections, abortions, mental health issues that have to do with relationships, transactional sex that is taking place in our country.
Yep.
Transactional sex as early as kids, where young kids are being sent by their parents and community leaders to sell their bodies so that they can have a meal to eat in the evening. It's a documented research by UNICEF on Kilifi County. That's one example. So it's crazy.
This is Kwa ground, this is the facts.
Like in Kilifi, the levels of poverty are so dire that the community leaders and parents are on record and on video. And on our proposal, we cite that and put a link for our clients to see, or our sponsors to see what we're talking about, because we have to do a case study and analytics and show data on what where the crisis is at. So they're on record saying that if our girls don't do this, what will we eat?
Yo.
Because it's the girl going to the beach to sell her body to a tourist is the game changer between having a meal for the family or not. We're not talking about rent or a PS4. We're talking about
food.
If somebody is that poor and they cannot have food, do you think they can afford healthcare? So these problems are intertwined. Poverty, unemployment, and the social vices around them are interconnected. So the only way, in fact, I was talking to some development partners at the coast the other day. We had gone down with Chipukizi, talked to some NGOs there, and we're telling them that this issue of transactional sex in this area, the coast, it's not just about kuuza mwili,
poverty,
child prostitution. It is poverty, where the mom turns a blind eye, is like, ulileta ngapi leo? Mpata wangapi? Straight up. So we have a lot to do. I feel like as a generation, Esther, we cannot sit back and do nothing. That's why I decided to do something. It's my own way. People may not be happy about it. People may not support it. But I'm doing my part, even if it's small, even if it's 1.1 milliliter of 100%, fine. I want to say one day that the way I saw the issues that my fellow young people were dealing with, this is how I responded. This is how I created a solution that is practical, I beg your pardon, that is effective, and that is sustainable for the long term. So our interventions are relatable, they're practical. That's the difference between us and another NGO. I'm not doing checkboxing for a donor in the United States.
Yep.
Our solutions are homebred, home solutions, local, for our people, for our generation, for young guys who've pitied what we've pitied. Where you go, you kula chile, kavu, you get your chomeka in the morning. Because you didn't use a CD. So can't we now take that and chanuana? Because it's co-creation, it's peer-to-peer engagement.
Gina, form?
Yangu ni Christine.
Form?
Form 3.
I'm Lynette, Form 3.
I'm Shenedy, I'm in Form 4.
Okay, so ladies, mshai have sex?
Pana.
Hapana.
Once.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else did you now sasa? How venye ulifanya ili ulifilaje sasa ukifanya sex?
It was painful. I didn't expect it. But yeah, it was good.
And did you use protection?
Yeah.
Mlitumia
condom.
Okay, so according to nyinyi hata kama mja have sex, mmesikia everything about Punguza. What do you advise people, as in ni vizuri kutumia contraceptives ama?
Ni vizuri kutumia contraceptive. Juu ina nini? Health yako ni muhimu sana.
Nice, na wewe?
Mimi na advice madam, kama ni lazima ufanye hiyo sex, utumie contraceptive, na kama utaki kufanya sex, abstain.
Nice.
I think using contraceptives is important. As Punguza, you've taught us to be loyal to one partner. So of course, that means trust iko hapo.
And then kuna hii issue about early pregnancies na teenage pregnancies. What do you think about that?
I think early pregnancy come about when people do sex without doing protection. And I think maybe it's for pleasure and then accidentally wanapata mimba. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you mkona saa mnajua si wenye wamepata ball mapema, si ndio? Mademo young wenye wameacha shule juu ya ball. Mnawezaje ambia mayouth wengine huko nje wenye wana engage na irresponsible sexual behavior?
Mimi naweza waambia watumie contraceptives kama CD, condom, na ma pills, kitu kama hiyo
Mimi naweza waambia tu watumie condom. Juu condom ndo yenye yani ndo ile effective ama alafu pia ni cheap kushinda hizo zingine.
Okay.
And tell our youth, follow youth, manzeni aje tutumie CD ama tujaribu bana, ama utafute hata partner moja. Twende test nini, unajua wewe ni clean, wewe ni clean. No, so tunachanuana. It's not like we have a solution, it's not a school. It's a conversation. And a conversation is two ways. So people respond and say, hey, this. There's people who are like, no, don't do this. It's bad. It's against. You're encouraging young people to have sex. I remember being told in one of these blogs that DNG is encouraging young people to have sex.
And that's why I'm saying I'd love hearing it from the horse's mouth, because already when you started with the background, I already know what I've heard is maybe what I've read, and maybe the name Punguza, I've not understood the foundation on which you're saying.
Let me tell you about it. So, and I've even defended Punguza in top level engagements with the global development partners, guys like AMREF, in attendance, guys like Sakaja, Nairobi Senator, the parliamentary committee chairperson on health, Sabina Chege. They've been in attendance, and I've told them what I feel should be done from government to development partners, and it's a conversation I continue to do. I have done a media tour about it. I'm doing my own on-ground engagement. People invite me for conversations, webinars, talk about this. How can we get partners on board? And you see, we forget that our generation is already having sex. Esther. Our generation has been having sex even before I. Do you understand? And will continue to. Okay? Kuchil aiko. And it's important for us to call a spade a spade. I'm not saying 100%. I'm saying majority. And majority is what forms it into a crisis. That if majority of young people are having unprotected sex, how much are we exposing ourselves to? Isn't it a conversation
And
worth having?
when you say young, what ages are we talking about?
Okay, the earliest documented cases of pregnancy is 9 years old. Documented. I'm not talking about defilement. I'm talking about a young guy, a 9-year-old boy or a 10-year-old boy who had sex with a 9-year-old girl. You get what I'm saying? This is within public facilities. This data is from the Ministry of Health. So 9 years is the starting point. You said you have daughters, so start thinking, how old, what class is this? 9 years. That means they're having sex either because of peer pressure. You know how it is to be a young person. Sometimes we pretend like we were never youth. And we sit on our high horses and start talking about each other on screenshots. That's foolery. I start again. Because we were youth. We are youth today. Aren't we best placed
Bro,
to
you were just saying how you were
communicate?
selling porn.
Aren't we best placed to communicate to our fellow young people?
Yep.
And so that they can avoid the mistakes we made, that they can avoid the accidents we made, they can avoid the blunders. And some of the blunders are life-threatening and are scarring for life. You see, I believe like we must engage our young people where it matters. So we can't just talk about economic development without forgetting health.
That's true.
You understand? So there's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot of engagement. So what we're doing is going into their spaces, high schools, where parents allow, primary schools, like now the one with Kajiado. It was an open forum with parents, teachers, and students. Parents are like, hey, mambo ya kondoma pana. And we're like, why, mom? Nampea Mike anatuelezea concern yake, kijana anaelezea concern yake. It's a conversation. Did you have this conversation with your parent?
Nada.
Ama you learned how to use a CD on your own? If you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, so can we change the game, bro?
Yeah.
How can we comfortably sit in our good homes and high horses and see people suffering? Maybe because of lack of information, because of lack of knowledge. Sometimes people don't use contraceptives because they can't afford them. If somebody is poor, cannot eat, do you think they have money to buy a CD? Do you think that is their concern? Is their concern an STI, or it's to eat and survive till tomorrow?
So let me ask you this. What's the agenda? Why Punguza?
So Punguza comes from the mindset of reducing irresponsible sexual behavior. So it's an ongoing conversation because we acknowledge that somebody cannot just stop immediately. No addiction is dealt with cold turkey. That's why people relapse. Go together.
Yes.
If you do a drug survey from Nakada or from even crime, if you are incarcerated, you are most likely to return to that prison because of inculturation. So the big idea is, how can we inculcate a positive mindset and good lifestyle choices amongst our people step by step? Because I believe previous campaigns that have been attempted and failed, like Tumechill, failed because people didn't chill. If people chilled, wouldn't have had the same outcome that we're dealing with today.
Let me ask a straight up question.
Yes. So
Punguza,
things like telling young people, listen, if you have 10 chiles, can you punguza to like whatever number?
Sasa?
Poa.
Unaitwa?
Barak.
Uko form?
4.
Form 4.
Yes.
Na wewe?
Nancy.
Form?
4.
Michael from 4.
Wow, nice. So, who can tell me what sex is? Nani anaweza niambia sex ni nini?
Sex is about two partners, a male and a female, enjoying themselves through
It's all about sexual intercourse, sindio? So have you ever had sex?
No.
You've never had sex?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had sex?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had sex?
Yes.
Okay. The first time you had sex, how did it make you feel? Ama how do you feel when you have sex? Una feeling okay do sex?
Siku ya kwanza ilikuwa uchungu, but when nikazoea Sweet. Mtamu.
So when a partner uko na sexual partners wangapi?
15.
Wow, ako na 15 sexual partners. Unatumianga contraceptives?
Ningefundishwa mapema hii inaitwa Punguza. Ningefundishwa mapema singekuwa na mtoto mmoja. But saa hii siku hizi wanaitumia.
So unatumianga condoms? Na wote kabisa, kuna mtu unaenda naye Rose, ndio?
Ni mmoja tu naendanga na au 15 wengine ni wakunini kukula tu.
So ukiulizwa kitu about STDs ama STIs, what will you say?
Mimi naweza sema STIs, mavijana wajue STIs ziko na pia wakipata STIs zitawaffect, na pia utapata venye tulifunzwa kuna STI yenye haiponi, so kama wanataka ku have sex they use the contraceptives kama condoms na pill to enable them ili wasipate hizo STIs.
Unaweza ambia nini about wale matins wamepata bololo watu wamekuwa pregnant mapema?
Ningependa kusema kwamba wajipe moyo, waendelee, wajitunze sasa. Wasiendelee kufanya, ama wakifanya watumie condom.
If you have been having unprotected sex, can you wear a CD? Can you now wear a CD? Or can you go for testing? Can you get the right access to information?
That I fully understand. In fact, I fully understand and support it. I've got a 2-year-old. We're not teaching her about this place with that's your vagina. It's a chile.
Yeah, don't let somebody touch you.
We've got to teach. We've got to like it's 2 years old, bana bra. That's one of the hardest things that my wife has had to do.
And you talked
but you have to do it now in this day and age.
Esther, you talked about porn, right? Do you know that young kids are watching porn even in primary school?
Let me tell you, I was at Google.
I've received letters from school, for parents. You know that how an email is sent to all parents from grade X to X of an issue where kids in lower primary schools are watching porn because they have phones, they have Google.
Dude, let me. When I worked at YouTube,
it's not hard to find nudes online.
When I worked there, and they would post the reports and say the things that Kenyans have been searching most for is how to kiss. I'm like, rubbish. From the top 10 sites that Kenyans were searching, can I shock you?
Pornhub number 1.
Porn were on 3. That time betting sites were on like 2, and the rest was social media. But porn was such a major thing. So when they post these things and they try and make it look like kids are not looking at porn.
So perhaps based on first our traditional setting as a country.
But hold on, DNG, let me ask you this one question. Okay. This for me is the game changer. Is part of your initiative to get them to reduce the age at which sexual consent is allowed by law?
No, my campaign is not about consent. But consent is a legal issue. Consent now is an issue of perhaps amending the law. That is the conversation that was taking place. Yes, we participated in that conversation to get input from young people because policy needs citizen participation. In fact, we also participated in a co-creation exercise where we were creating communication and messaging for adolescents, where we even brought teenagers in different parts of the country to give their stories, and we can use those experiences to inform the advocacy and programmatic campaigns that we want to roll out. Because sometimes if you don't co-create with your audience, you talk from, I'm 34, I talk from a 34-year-old, but we're not listening to the 13-year-old, the 16-year-old. Talk to them. And sometimes just have even a cup of tea. If you have a small brother, small sister, nini, ingiza them akastoro, aka nephew, weni aje, hii mambo unaonaje, they'll tell you. So some of the feedback we got from this youth, one, the reason they don't using condoms is because when they walk into a chemist, they feel judged.
Oh, they can't buy it.
These are now urban youth. Forget the youth now who cannot afford. That is a different story. You see, the paradigm is different in every part of Kenya. In Nairobi, some of these young people have the issues of like fear of. So the crisis is access to youth-friendly health facilities where a young person can go and get contraceptives. Are we encouraging them to have sex? No. We're just cognizant. that
they are
with or
having
without
sex.
our intervention, they will.
Okay.
And if we do not intervene, they'll have unprotected sex, they'll get STIs, HIV/AIDS, unwanted pregnancies, abortions. It goes to mental health because, oh shit, you messed up your life, you cannot deal with it, trauma, etc., drug abuse to heal with the pain. The spectrum is enormous.
And then you bring up a generation which now it's
messed
another
up.
cycle. Okay.
So as a young person, can't I now come in and intervene and tell guys, hey, can't we have youth-friendly health facilities? Now that's a conversation with government and development partners who have the budget. But the budget is not being allocated to youth. It's being reallocated to other things, as you've seen. We have so much money in this country. Donor partners are sitting on billions of shillings, but it's at the top. The programmatic investment is so little. And you don't have to give this money to 254 Cares as an NGO. Give it to whoever to do whatever. But let us see the impact. Even tell me there's a youth-friendly clinic in Tao or wherever estate that is giving free contraceptives. I'll push it for you for free. I don't need a share of that money.
Bro, let me tell you, first of all, I apologize for
we
saying...
are pushing guys to do the right thing. So I sit at high-level conversations with government, with the county government, because health is a devolved function. This county government sometimes tell you they don't have budget. I don't understand how county government official will tell me they don't have budget for you. It pains me, man. It pains me. Then tell me to my face.
They can't.
Okay? I sit with the development partner sitting on a budget. They're like, oh no, we don't have approvals yet. Guys are still having unprotected sex out here.
Let me say this.
So if they're not going to do it, me, I'm going to do it. Even if I'm not able to do it to the national scale that I want.
You can do it too.
I'll do it step by step, impacting the little I can with the resources I have. That's my story.
Dude, let me tell you, first and foremost, it's so important to tell your narrative because now I understand what Punguza is about. In fact, I support Punguza.
Thank you.
You get like
and push it, bro. Push guys to support,
we've done
contribute.
It here.
Let's have these condom manufacturers giving us CDs. Even I don't want the tunes. Give us the product. We will deliver it. I'll fund the transport. I'll set up the activation. I'll teach guys about SRHR, how to use. Do you know even some youth don't know how to use a CD?
Because it's not taught.
They're not taught in school. So we have invested in those wooden training tools to teach.
Dude, you know
the misconception and the misinformation is so much.
And let me say this. Kwa ground vitu ni different and you are on the ground. Heavy. So I can't start giving my thoughts about the youth when I left that bracket a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Talking to them every day.
Exactly. This is what you do. And also when I hear your story, you're not faking this thing. This is where your heart is.
It's things I've also pitied Esther.
Yep.
When I'm saying, talking about Punguza, like guys were attacking me, he's pushing Punguza being one. You guys, we're not pushing Punguza because we are perfect or we are saints and angels who have descended from the heavens. We are pushing Punguza as youth, peer to peer. Like nikikwambia, Buddha, una invest. Si ati mimi sina challenges ado. Pia mimi napitia. So tunachanuana bro. Some of these campaigns I also do to kunichanua mimi.
I get.
Kunishtua, enyewe tuna risk sana. And that's how the conversation is as real as it is. Because anyone is at risk of catching HIV/AIDS.
Yep.
All you need is one encounter of unprotected sex to expose you to that.
Yep.
Do you understand? So it's something that we must remind ourselves. Even if we think we are now married, we are perfect, we are families. We have to remind ourselves, hata wazee lazima kuwe na history pia ya kupunguza kwa wazee. Kwani wazee wafanye hizi vitu. If you ask Kenyans in general, who is here is having sex with an unprotected sex, you'll see the statistics. I'll do it on my platform. You see the polls all the time. You see about 67-70% of young people having unprotected sex, and they do not know the status of the other partner. So that is reality. We can agree or disagree. We can hide it under the carpet, pretend it's not happening. Because we are Africans and we cannot talk about sex. Oh my God! I remember being kicked out of KBC once because I was talking about sex during my Punguza media tour on KBC, a national broadcaster. Strange stuff.
Dad, man. The narrative.
The cat shot the internet.
No, the narrative that even I got, because I've not researched about Punguza, but it sounds. You see, that's why I like hearing from the horse's mouth, because now I can come back to you and I say, DNG, here's footage that you said this.
Yes.
And me, I'm a guy doing my research.
Yes, and we document our interactions with youth. We document.
So you've got YouTube channels for all of this and all this.
Our YouTube channel is called 24 TV, which you can help us promote. Let guys see
our. Don't worry, I'll share it. Man. I have no problems.
So you'll see our videos of our engagements in high schools, in Campo, all that community. You will see everything we do. We film so that people can see. I'm a believer in showcase. And also as I do it, I'm also encouraging guys to pick up causes. So even my peers, Wasani, who have followers, these influencers, use your channels to pick a cause. It doesn't have to be sex or sexual health or youth empowerment. Pick even malaria. Pick even climate. Pick leadership, governance. Pick whatever you're passionate about, even just arts. I'm an advocate for arts.
Let me say this.
And use your channels to positively impact others. Esther, we have to transcend beyond being celebs of kujulikana ndio sasa nisikie poa watu wananijua niko na followers wengi. Hiyo ni ufala kabisa. Now I'm about turning it around to use my influence to communicate positivity to my generation. And that for me is a legacy program. So I use any engagement with clients, I've told you, from Gava. When I sit with Gava officials, I'm the guy who's speaking. I'm like, okay, what are you doing for vijana? Every office I enter. Whether you're in housing, like now there's Boma Yangu, which I'm a part of, telling guys the importance of owning a house. I'm like, I went to ask, why isn't this conversation being packaged for youth? Which is now what I'm doing. Because young people need to know that first, they have the right to own a house. Because we think kuona nyumba ni ya mabuda. Anza pole pole. Kuna 1 bedroom ya 1 million. So kuingia you need 12.5%. Hiyo ni how much? Hiyo ni 125,000. Haya, divide by 12 months. Inika 10k kila mwezi. Wezi tafuta 10k. Unakata maji kila weekendi, una turn up, una stand social media, una trend. Surely, where are our priorities? That's the conversation that I'm dissecting and disseminating for my young people in my way. And everywhere I go, I hammer my clients. I'm like, in this story, where is the youth story here? I go to which fund, I want to know. And I ask the CEOs, the PSAs, candidly, you've brought me here to do comms. Kuna story ya vijana. And even if there isn't, we will introduce it. I'm in the tourism sector now with our new show we are putting together. I'm asking the players there, how can we package tourism and for travel for youth?
Exactly.
How we look at it is, lazima ukuwe na domingi ndio usafiri. First domestic tourism is only being enjoyed by international tourists.
Which is
stupid. When I was young, I used to go camping, bana. We pay kidogo sana. Nairobi Baptist, we used to camp at Hippo Camp. 800.
There's a thing we used to call 10K. You pay 10K, 3 days.
You know what I'm saying?
Food,
so it's possible. We just need to package it in a palatable way for you.
10K, 3 days in the Mara. That's rubbish.
And you don't have to do it every day. You do it even quarterly.
Exactly.
Pick every 3 months.
That's a G a month.
Or 3 Gs a month.
Yeah.
You get if you really want to travel every quarter. Or you can even travel twice a year.
Yep. But let me ask,
spoiled. Okay. You know what I mean? Because young people, this is my opinion, Esther, have not been brought onto the table in every sector. Agriculture, trade, technology, ICT, they were not on the table, on the menu.
But bro,
Yet, we are the majority.
Let me also turn around and put a rod to the backside of the influencers, the media personalities. 99% of the rubbish that was been on TV, that's how this channel started, this channel that you're on. It's because every time I switched on media, it's about this divorce that has happened. It's not their fault.
Twerking, Nini.
You get?
And that's we're not saying there isn't a time for that.
No, exactly, but it can't be the 99% conversation every day.
Yeah, that and politics.
If every day you're talking about a divorce happening, how do you expect that kid to ever think marriages work?
In fact, media feeds people politics and negativity
and
scandal.
And now let me chapa you as
Three
well.
things.
Are you part of this thing? Are you part of that narrative?
Never. Show me where I've been a part of that narrative.
You're not part of that narrative.
Never. Even like on radio.
I don't even consume TV because of
even
that.
Even when I was on radio, we've never. It was always positive. So like on on Tuesdays we had 254 Tuesdays, so we tell Kenyan stories, play Kenyan music, support Kenyan artists. Monday was Money Mondays, it was about money and development. Wednesday it was an empowerment day for women. I used to call it Diva Wednesdays. So I bring in women entrepreneurs, talk about their stories and women related issues. Thursday was a throwback, so I kumbusha guys what you're doing, connecting the dots between the past and present. Then Friday was an entertainment day where the whole show is dedicated to arts. Artists, DJs, vixens, nini. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So for me, my life is always the positive
Okay.
conversation. I'm not a consumer. That's why you don't see me spew hate on my page or tribalism on my page, or even when people attack me, I don't use my platform to respond to hate on my page. No, I propagate positivity, empowerment, impact, and I want to challenge my peers to do the right thing.
Okay.
Because it is time. It is time to turn around.
Does Punguza also have the I call it financial infrastructure for value to be transferred? So can I transfer value from value? Do you have MPESAs? Do you have for Punguza as well? So, or is it for?
It's through 254 Cares. So 254 Cares is the organization.
Okay.
Punguza is an initiative under the organization. Yes. So also when you're submitting your let's say it's an MPESA payment for the account. And I can give you this information after this, so you can put it on the scroll.
It's what's on the screen now.
Yeah, you can as you're doing pumping in money into the pay bill for account, you can indicate
Punguza.
My chum is going to Punguza.
Okay.
My chum is going to Hassolyaku. My chum is going to general. To
Do you do reports?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do reports like what we do our reports in a very cool way. We call it the journey. So we document periodically, and this we share with our development partners, people who are like have shown interest. In supporting in one way or another. So we show them the journey so that they are able to see from when we started Punguza, what have we done, what have we achieved, what have been our outcomes. It's called social impact outcomes.
Okay.
So it's not just doing for fun and people feeling good because they went for charity. It's impact. What impact did I leave in this school? What impact did I leave in this university?
This is why I am stopping your conversation kidogo to push this. Me, I'm fed up of Jungus coming to sponsor us and fund our thing. Not because we have the finances within us to be our own solution. You get? We can't just constantly be running to NGOs or not NGOs, people from abroad, donors, to come constantly support us. Like we ourselves don't have this thing.
Can I tell you something strange in the donor world? And these are things that I'm learning as I engage with them. The big donors from Western countries give their money to Western NGOs. Did you know that? The money rarely trickles down to the CBOs and the NGOs at local.
No, I didn't know that.
I don't want to name names, but that is a crisis. That ni bees, ni kipindi yao, ni kipindi. Philanthropist anatoa $1 billion because there it's tax deductible.
Yep.
Correct? And then the money is given to Muzungu, and I'm not even trying to be racist, but the NGO is Western. A Western NGO cannot solve problems in our scenario. The solutions must be localized. And we're not even against them coming to set up here. Where are the partnerships? Let's see the Western NGO that was given the grant of $1 million, that's 100 million Kenyan shillings, team up with these grassroots organizations in Kajiado or in Embu or in Kitui or in Nyamira and work with them. Rather than paying executives hefty expatriate salaries.
Yeah, I know.
It's not making sense to me.
But let me also add and say, in Kenya we have the mentality, and this I've even witnessed with CTA of Sina. I'm like, that's rubbish. Everybody has. Listen to what I mean by that. If you have 10 shillings, give 1 shilling.
Yeah. No matter how little.
If you have
even those who are bila cash kabisa, give your time.
Exactly.
Come and talk to youth.
Exactly. You get what I mean? So it's not that you can't do. So this is my challenge as these things are scrolling down that guys give. Now, because I've understood from the horse's mouth what Punguza is about, I apologize for just taking what I read on the blogs. And by the blogs, but as you just get the real stories as an You
get top shatter.
Yeah.
Negative news sells so much that it's become the currency of choice. Remember some of these blogs, how they make their money is through online ads and Google ads and like I see some guys that saying that if you like my work of exposing guys, send me MPESA. I'm not trying to knock on anybody's hustle, but like we consume so much energy. I mean,
it's affecting a generation.
And
We have a problem
negativity.
with it.
Yeah, that it's. Let me not even blame anybody. Let me just say it is up to us as industry leaders, captains of industry, to reset the button, to change the narrative. So what you're doing, Esther, is amazing. That even agencies are watching what you're doing. Next, you have to now put ads here.
Nothing.
I'm just saying. So like, it's what you're doing is pioneering. If we never did it,
By the way, I'm not saying I won't put ads. There are better ways to sell ads.
so you
don't
do
have
your
to stop
do
the
your
show like a
package of
TV.
properties and
And
sell
then
to
to the
agencies.
yeah.
So Esther, like, we have to do it. Someone has to do it. So you are doing it. I'm doing it. I saw Joa Kali doing something with Kibera with Refiga. Good friend of mine. I have King Kaka's Sanitary Bank. Janet Tumbugu has something she does about menstrual health.
Juliani
has his thing. Octopizo has a foundation for refugees. So people are passionate about different things, and that's what's beautiful. Adele has something called She for women, etc. So let us encourage this kind of initiatives, because people are taking their time. Sometimes we do these initiatives not because we are earning. An auntie of mine asked me, hey, how much do you earn with this initiative, Punguza? I don't earn. I'm not on a salary. I'm funding it myself.
I love that you're on camera saying this because
najilipa aje
yeah.
na sina hata do ya kuendeleza hizi project. Sometimes we get so many proposals to partner with guys. Sometimes I feel like how do we do them all? We don't have the resource. So now what I've decided to do is now reach out to partners. Talk to a guy. You have a tent, you have this, come, we pull and we do. We pull and we do.
Using your relationships.
Because I'm tired of waiting for donor funding. It's not that we've not applied for it. We have. We've,
and even local funding.
I've gone to organizations, presentations, Nini. People are not. This is a nice initiative. That's what it ends. People don't put their money where their mouth is. You see, that's a challenge in this game. And so we can wait and exist on paper for the rest of our lives. Or we can do what we can, staccato, step by step. No, every journey starts with the first step. So, we've moved from dependence. In fact, I was telling my guys, effective January, we're not doing proposals to any organization. We're not filling in any applications for funding. Our time will be to talk to Esther. Can you come and talk to young guys in this shule about what you do? My calls will be to next person, can you give product nini, airtime nini, soda, whatever you can. Hatuchagui. Wewe uko na viatu leta, wewe uko na hata nguo mzee leta, tutapata place ya kuzipeleka. That's how I'm going to do it from next year. I'm telling you about my plan for 2021.
Nice. In fact, that is going to be my
next year. It's about executing all the ideas that are in my mind.
Okay, hold on. Even before we get to next year, Switch TV.
So
how did that come across?
Switch TV is a very interesting conversation because